Hello, welcome back to the Grange on Main. I'm Nelson. Please overlook the pale white pasty edition sleeveless shirt. It's in the 70s. I got soaking wet the other day digging that septic tank up by hand. If you're here from my farm channel, we've already been through all this, but unfortunately with summertime coming, you're probably going to see a whole lot of that. The straw hats, and they call it neck garb. I put a rag around my neck to keep the sweat from running down. I sweat profusely, so just don't let it bother you. Hopefully I need to get some sun on them anyway. But we're going to try to dig up the water line that I put in about 28 years ago. I've got an idea kind of where it is. I dug it with a conventional backhoe, borrowed it from my uncle years ago. I think it was a 426 Caterpillar, so it's a decent sized backhoe. So I'm pretty sure I know about where it is, but I'm going to show you guys a way that I find water lines. A lot of people do. Some people call them line wires, L-I-N-E. Some people call them lying, I mean they tell you a story. And other people call them witching wires. I've been in the water industry for most of my adult life, so pretty good with them. I think a lot of it has to do with the chemical compound and makeup of your body, whatever's in your hand. But I'll show you what I do with them and see how close we can get the water line. Now I'm cheating a little bit because I know a general idea, but it's a 3/4 inch black roll water line, so we'll see how good we are. I'll be entertaining anyway, and I did get some new shovels, so let's go see what we can do on day 2 here to expose the water line. So here's what's left of some marking flags. They came through and put some underground cable board it about 3 or 4 months ago here at the end of the driveway, so I just stopped. There's orange flags riddled out there that say buried cable. I've already thrown the flags away, but anyway, industry I was in, we would have these all the time. So just bend it over to 90, put it in the palm of your hand. You can't squeeze it, you just basically let it sit there on your finger, and you walk very slowly. And you know, we'll see how it works, and you guys make your own judgment call. I've been doing this for years, and I'm gonna say that 8 times out of 10 I'm spot on. So it'll usually follow the line. You're walking perpendicular with it. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm cheating a little bit because I've got I'm gonna say a 3 or 4 foot idea where it is, but the landscape has changed over that many years, so we'll see how close we can get and dig down on it. So let's go get started. All right, so it's the end of March, so the wind's gonna be picking up. Just have to deal with it. So basically, I don't know if you can see in the center of the screen there, down there at that telephone pole, there's a yard hydrant that I installed. The water line comes, fingering the screen, right up through here. That tree down there, the stump, and this one both were here. So I'm pretty sure that the line is, I know I came around the corner, I want to say the line's probably about 2 or 3 feet off that stump, probably about right here. So I'm not sure exactly where I want to dig down on it. I'm gonna have to cut the water off and put a cutoff on it, because right now, fingering the screen's cutoff's over there at that stake. So I'm not sure. Let me get the camera set up here and decide exactly where I want to dig and find it, and we'll see if these lines work. Wires, rather. All right, we're gonna try it with 2 here. The wind is awful. Just kind of get an idea. If you can see the wires, you probably can. Once I get over top of it, you can see they come together like that, right on the mark where I was a minute ago. I mean, this is not gonna get you within a couple of inches by any means, but Well, back for a second day of digging. So I knew better than to try to explain the whole line wire thing and use it, because it would end up making me look like an idiot. But kind of two-part. I was spot on with the old water line. Listen, there's Jack. Every day. So it did put me on the old water line, and the other part of the fault I have to say is my own, because I can't remember what I did yesterday. So the water line is not where I thought it was, but like I said, it's been at least 25 years. So let me spin you around here and show you what we got going on and all the gopher holes that I dug. I still haven't found it where I need to find it. Okay, so here's the original hole. The old copper line's down there in the bottom of that one. There was a big tree there at the stump and another big tree down there at that stump. So I thought I came right around the corner like we were talking about yesterday, but evidently I did not, because there was concrete furniture here. I think you've seen me move that. We talked about at the beginning of these videos. I do remember after much digging, when I used to park right here when I lived in the big house, running over a dip. And if you can see, I'm gonna put my finger in the screen again, right there in the center of the screen, the grass is really green. So I think I came around the corner of the pole down there and then just kept that angle, because that was not here then, that crepe myrtle, and nor that tree was here. So I came down here and got frustrated. That's why you guys didn't see me more filming. Overlooked the shadows. And we uncovered it. I knew I had the pressure reducing valve and cutoff valve I had put in there, and we uncovered it. I don't know if you can see it there in the bottom of the hole. So if you stand here and look up the hill, it should be right there in that last hole that I dug last night at about 8 o'clock. And it's not, or I haven't gotten deep enough yet. It's not near as deep here as I thought, but I knew I was having to come up to get in the house. So that's all we did all afternoon. Needless to say, I was very aggravated at myself. So we're gonna try to join these two holes today. I've got a non-metallic probe rod, which is not the best at all to use because it's hard to get in the ground. But I'm gonna see if I can find the soft spot maybe, and see if we can locate this thing. So how about that for luck? So yesterday off camera, right there, I dug that hole down waist deep, and then there was what, a 2-foot area here. I came over here and dug this one down a little over knee deep, lining up with my line, and wouldn't you know it, it's right in between where I didn't dig yesterday. But that's a plus, because we haven't been digging now but for about 10 minutes and found it. So I'm gonna have to square up my hole there a little bit, and we'll get started putting some dirt back in these other holes and call it good till I get ready to put the valve on it, and that'll be on another video. Okay, well, a day and a half later, we located a water line that I myself put in. Pro tip, as the Lempley brothers say, if you put a plastic water line in, put a tracer wire on it so you can locate it, or draw good maps. I did neither, but that's par for the course. I mean, the line wire picks it up over here. I guess I should show you guys that. Let me show you that just so you don't think I'm crazy with the line wire. But like I said, over there in the first hole is the old water line, so I'm sure it's still got groundwater in it. But That's my fault if I would have just remembered a little bit. So the layout, the landscape has changed so much in that many years, honestly. So let me show you the line wire anyway. That's right over it. Go on this side of the hole if you can. If you can see me in the camera, maybe you can, maybe you can't. Yep. I think I'm gonna cheat and get a farm tractor if it'll crank and push some dirt in those holes. I'm about tired of running a shovel for a couple of days. That wore me out yesterday. When you get aggravated, it really works even harder. But I gotta get a couple pieces of tin or something to cover up the septic tank hole and the water line hole, and then cover my dirt up. We got some rain coming in this weekend and next week, and the wife and I are headed to the coast for our first trip next week. We'd already scheduled that. Probably be one of the very few we do this year because of all this, but we're gonna go. So you're probably watching this after that. Once I get back, I'll terminate the water line there and put a valve in it. Probably gonna 90 it up with some hard brass plumbing and put a brass valve on it, and that way everything will be buried underground, and then I'll have a ball valve shut off. Probably put a meter box type deal, and then he can tie right onto it, the plumber for the house, and then I'll have a shut off, you know, right outside the door, because the meter's all the way out at the end of the road. And then we'll terminate the septic tank line and cap it off for now. I'm sure he'll go back in with PVC on that, and then all that'll be taken care of while we're tearing the house down and getting everything situated. So let's see what we can get into now, if the tractor will crank, and go from there. I don't want to make these too long on you. At least we found the water line finally. Well, we succeeded in the water line issues. Finally found it. Kind of made a fool out of myself on one aspect. We talked about that in the beginning, but it did work, and it does work. You just gotta remember what you did years ago, and that's failing me quick. Apologize for the sleeveless shirt. It's hot, I'm sweaty today. It's really gonna get warm next week, but I just want to document every aspect of this journey from start to finish. I mean, you've seen several videos of the first avenue we were going, and then we brought you guys up to speed on where we are with the plans for the modular. That's still looking good, not signed on the dotted line like we talked about, but these are all aspects that we need to do. You've seen the septic tank video, so I don't want to put all of it on one. You know, I know it's a bunch of shoveling and probably got bored of seeing that, but it gave me a workout, I'll put it that way. So I got the demolition permit finally for the little house, so we've got to go inside and get a lot of the stuff tore apart and taken down so I don't make such a huge mess. And that's probably going to be pretty soon, digging up the stumps. I need to get the house lot situated, completely gone, everything finished up and terminated, water lines, sewer lines, everything, so that I can move on to the rest of it. The poles, the trees, the fence, the old shop up here. We've got a lot of cleanup to do, a lot of moving of stuff. You know, it's been a work in progress for 4 or 5 years, and we're just going to kind of kick that into overdrive with the wife being here and us calling this our home now instead of just the farm. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. If you're not subscribed, please consider it. It doesn't cost you a thing. It ought to be some good content. I'll definitely get the wife back on here pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. But we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. Really appreciate everything, guys. Till then, thank you.